Hi everyone, it's Ash, and I'm here with Food Network Star finalist Amy Pottinger.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what brought you here to Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm kind of from all over the place, originally from Seattle, and my husband's job brought us to Hawaii. We're stoked to be here. You know, we kind of go out hiking and take the ocean kayak out every weekend and just love exploring the island.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
And obviously you have a love for food.
I do,
so where did your passion for cooking come from?
You know, it kind of grew over the years. I always loved food. I've always worked in restaurants, but never really in the kitchen. And I just kind of taught myself things along the way. You know, there's something I wanted to cook, so I'd learn how to cook it. And I just kind of have a natural palate for flavors and what goes together. And turns out I'm talented.
Yeah, definitely. And it's that talent that got you on Food Network Star.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
You know, I know and I don't know. I say I don't know because I had a relatively obscure food blog until they picked me up. I know that I applied, but I don't know how they picked me out of all those people. Obviously, I'm glad that they did. It was an incredible experience that I'm very blessed to have been a part of. So yeah, they grabbed me up for the show and I said yes, and you've seen the rest.
Yeah, and it looked like it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And you mentioned your blog,
Yes.
but I also know you have a catering company also. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So my blog is Caviar and Crayons, and you can find my catering and private chef services on there as well. So like I said, you know, I kind of move around with my husband, and because of that, what I do needs to be fluid. You know, I also have 2 young kids. They're 3 and 5. And it just kind of grew from there. After I went on Food Network Star, I had a lot of people asking, like, do you do cooking lessons? Will you cater this event? And I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I got my business license and all that jazz, and now I do it all.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, tell us what you're going to be making for us today.
Right. Okay. So one of my favorite things is pork belly. And when I eat something that's kind of rich like pork belly, I like to top it with really fresh, vibrant ingredients. So we've done that with this beautiful pico and pineapple slaw. And we're going to do a sriracha mayonnaise, and it's just a light, delicious, kind of fresh take on pork belly.
Great. Sounds great. So let's get started.
Of course. Today we are going to be making pork belly tacos with this gorgeous pomegranate pico slaw on top. This is actually one of my favorite toppings. I put it on fish, I put it on steak, it goes with anything. But today we're having it with pork belly, which is another one of my favorites. So the first thing we're gonna get going is the slaw. We have some beautiful Hawaiian pineapple, pomegranate, purple cabbage, cilantro, lime juice, ginger, and all of these flavors are just gonna come together to make a beautiful kind of sweet and spicy mix. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut up my red Thai chili. A lot of the spice in chilies comes from the seeds and what we call the ribs. So when you're trying to decide how spicy you want a dish to be, you need to decide how much of this you want in there. So I'm gonna strip out a decent amount, but not all of it. And of course, we're gonna cut it up quite small because you don't want a big spicy bite, not too much spice. And we're gonna add it to our mix over here. Pomegranates can be tricky. The deal with pomegranates is you really wanna release all of the little tendrils and the seeds. So if you roll them like this, it helps get the seeds out for you. And they're a lot easier to release. So when you roll the pomegranate and section it out, it makes it a lot easier to get these beautiful seeds out. And we live in Hawaii, right? So I'm pretty sure you all know how to cut a pineapple, but I can demo it anyways. We are going to remove the rind and the core. And since this is kind of a salsa, you're gonna wanna get really small chunks on this pineapple, because if things like the pomegranate are really small, you're not gonna want giant pineapple slices. So we're just going to cut the rind off of that. And then we are going to get this beautiful pineapple into little chunks. So this adds a really beautiful sweet element to the dish along with the pomegranates. And then when we have those chilies, it's gonna add the spiciness, and we're gonna get some other flavor in there with honey, garlic, and some fresh grated ginger. So over here, I have my purple cabbage. Purple cabbage does a beautiful job of adding some beautiful, vibrant colors to your dish. You could use green cabbage if you wanted. However, this is just so much prettier. And I like things that are pretty. Don't you? We're gonna add that to our bowl over here. And then cilantro, always cilantro. I am a huge lover of cilantro. I put it in practically anything because herbs are a great way to add a really fresh flavor without adding a lot of calories or heavy, you know, just like having a heavy feel to the dish. So now that we have all of our ingredients for the slaw chopped up over here, what I have in this jar is a mixture of just some fresh lime juice, some grated garlic, grated ginger, and honey. And I love mason jars because On top of being some like silly little trendy decoration thing, they make a great vessel for mixing, for dressing, and all sorts of stuff. So I've already mixed the ingredients up in here, and we're just gonna pour it over our slaw. And of course, we need salt, because you need salt on everything. So I have some pink Hawaiian sea salt right here that we're just gonna sprinkle. And we're gonna toss this up, and you guys, this is good to go. Like I said, I put this on salads, I put it over steak tacos, we're doing it over here with the pork belly taco, and it just adds such a fresh, vibrant, colorful element to any dish, and it has a big variety of flavors and textures as well. I'm a big texture person with cooking. Like, I like crunchy, soft, and chewy all together, so you kind of have all of that in this slaw. The next thing we're gonna make for these tacos is this Sriracha mayonnaise. If you know anything about me, I don't do anything basic. So I can't just mix Sriracha and mayonnaise. It's just not how I work. In addition to the Sriracha and mayonnaise, we're gonna add some grated ginger and some grated garlic. And we're also gonna add some lime juice and some sea salt, because that's really gonna help develop a depth of flavor that you're not just gonna get from Sriracha and mayonnaise. So in my bowl over here, I have my Sriracha, my mayonnaise, my grated garlic, and my grated ginger. You can just kind of take the peel off the ginger and get it over a real fine grater, and it'll come through without all those fibrous textures in it. So now that we have our Sriracha, mayonnaise, grated garlic, and grated ginger in this bowl, we're gonna add some lime juice and some fresh pink Hawaiian sea salt. We're gonna grab your lime and just cut it in half. Just like the pomegranate, rolling your fruit helps release all the juices. Also, if it's at room temperature, the juices are gonna be a little bit more free to squeeze. So about half a lime will do it. You don't need too much lime juice. And just a pinch of sea salt. And this is something I've done in my food processor before. If you don't want to sit there and grate your ginger and grate your garlic, you can throw this all in a food processor. Or if you want to grate it to get that beautiful fine texture, and then you can just mix it in a bowl and it's ready to go on your taco. I like to put mine in a squirt bottle so you can get those pretty lines that you see all over Pinterest and the internet, but this works just fine too. I love pork belly. It's one of my favorite ingredients. And I also like to marinate things overnight. Another thing I like is kind of keeping ingredients consistent through the dish. So a lot of the lime juices and gingers and garlic that you see over here also went into the marinade for the pork belly, along with some brown sugar and some soy sauce. And after I marinated it, I finished it off in the oven at a high temp to render the fat, and then at a low temp to cook it through. After I've cooked it off in the oven, I kind of like to re-sear the skin on the outside in something like a cast iron skillet that can conduct a lot of heat to get that beautiful, crispy outside of the pork belly, which is, let's be honest, why we're all eating the pork belly anyways. Okay, so this pork belly has been beautifully crisped. We're going to take it on our cutting board and make nice, even, small slices. If you've done this correctly, you're going to see perfectly cooked pork and really well rendered fat. Just cut a couple more pieces for my taco here. This smells great. And then we can go ahead and assemble our tacos. Today I've used corn tortillas because you can get these beautiful grill marks on them, which gives them a beautiful presentation. If you want to use flour tortillas, you could, but if you want to keep it a little bit lighter, the corn tortillas are a great gluten-free alternative. Use whatever you want. Okay, so I'm going to start with a little spread of our Sriracha mayonnaise on the bottom. And that's going to give us a nice base of flavor for everything to stick to. And then you're going to lay out your pork belly. I'm getting excited. And then, of course, we are going to top it with this super flavorful slaw that we've done. Remember, we have the pomegranates and the pineapple and the chilies. So we're just going to get that beautiful balance of sweet and spicy, which is kind of one of my favorite things. And if you want, you can also squeeze some fresh lime juice over it to really just bring everything together. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you make these in your own home and love them. We love them in mine, so enjoy.